Welcome on in. This is Off the Edge with me, your host, Cam Jordan. I'm super excited because, we always talk about, what's in between the lines, playing football, the Pro Bowlers, the All-Pros, everybody who comes through, different sports. I finally get to talk what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about food. When you're 1-5 sitting at the New Orleans Saints, you've got to have fuel to fire you up to get you past this streak of losing situation that we're in right now. We got to get out this funk. We got to get back into the win column. And how do you do that? When you bless yourself with a good meal, you recuperate your mind and you get your attitude right for this upcoming week, because it's going to be hell fighting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, flying into Chicago to take on the Bears, who just beat the Washington Commanders this past Monday. And you know what? That has nothing to do with nothing, because we are focused on the world-renowned chef and businessman, founder of Momofuku, David Chang. Big dog, I appreciate you tapping in. I hope I said Momofuku right. I tried it in my head like 30 times.
It's a ridiculous name for sure, but you said it perfectly. Honored to be here, man. Thanks, Cam.
Yeah, man. You got the Dinner Time Live with David Chang on Netflix, which just started tapping into your podcast yourself. What got you into that space from being a chef to multiple restaurants?
I didn't plan on doing media at all. At the time when you started cooking, you only saw stuff on PBS or Food Network, and then some chefs that I really admired started doing television that were great programming. There's a chef in the UK named Heston Blumenthal, and he had a fantastic show that promoted his restaurants. It seemed good, and he didn't lose any credibility. So that was like a no-brainer once he said, laid out the framework, and then just started to dabble in it. And, 20 years later, I never thought I'd be on as many TV shows as we've done. It's been remarkable. Very blessed.
Man, I understand. Look, I feel like food and fat guys go hand in hand, and I've been a fat guy all my life. So, when it comes to tailgating or watching the game, there's got to be food aplenty. When it comes to my life and the ups and downs, food is a necessity. I think I probably started off watching what was that? It was I always mess this up. I always call it digs, diners, and drive-ins, and it's not. It's diners, dives, and drive-ins back in the day. And you just have this super huge appreciation for the people that can do. Those that can't do, teach. And I try and teach my kids how to make eggs, because that's, we're okay. We're not excellent like you are, but we do all right. When it comes down to it, man, you're sort of in that pathway of leading the way, media-wise, as well as, international food-wise. You've got, again, restaurants everywhere. Yeah,
every day just trying to stay in business. That's the way I look at it, right? And, doing media is one thing, but I don't work in the day-to-day in the restaurants anymore, much like, I've always followed sports for a long time, and I always thought that, I was always obsessed with the peak window of when you're at your best, right? And cooking is one of those things where there's a moment in time when you're at your best, for sure. There's like a few year period, and then you're not. And I never wanted to sort of fade away, and I always wanted to be prepared for what's next. And another thing that I'm sure clearly better than anybody else, but people forget or don't know how physical cooking is. If you're working like the meat roast station, you could be carrying like maybe, honestly, like 200, I won't say 2,000 pounds. I don't even know the pound. It's a ridiculous amount up and down all day. So it's no surprise when you see chefs in their 40s and 50s, they have knee replacements, hip replacements, shoulder replacements. So, your body just breaks because it's full on all the time, and there's no off season, right? So your body just breaks, and I knew that physically I couldn't be able to do what I did 10 years ago, right? I have my shoulder is replaced. I have a prosthetic in my neck. I got to get my L4 replaced sometime soon. I just can't cook the way I used to.
This used to.
Yeah.
You should be aggressive in that thing. Yeah, I know about the L4, L5 disectomy. It gets real in the trenches.
Yeah.
Nose tackle, D tackle, chef.
Yeah.
How much of that competitive nature from playing football, golf drives all that you've done as a chef, and as a content creator, as a restaurant owner, as, the Momofuku Group?
I mean, so much. My dad I grew up basically because my dad wanted me to be a pro golfer. And I played golf every day. That's all I did. 365 days a year, I played golf before golf became cool. Like now you go to a course anywhere in the country, you're going to see like an Asian dad yelling at their kid. My dad was the first, really was the first. And, I burned out and I never really played team sports growing up. It was always golf. So, I played some soccer here and there, but once it was shown that I was good at golf, that's all I did. And then I was recruited to play golf in high school, and I actually never panned out, So I tried out for football team just because at that time, that's what everybody did on your freshman team, freshman year of high school. And I got to tell you, like, that was the craziest experience of my life because I never knew that you could get hurt and people would like hit you. That was just like if you've never been hit before in pads, right? Imagine you're just playing golf all day and you're like, what's going on? I didn't understand the need to overcome pain, right? The need to have accountability with a teammate and a coach just yelling at you all day long. And that was like a big thing for me. It took a long time for me to even understand what football was, even though I watched it. It was such a foreign thing to me, playing a team sport and also being in discomfort, like constant discomfort. And I was not very good my freshman year. And I was not very good my sophomore year. It was not really good my junior year. And then it just sort of clicked. I was like, oh, I got to like really work at this. And I just sort of just overcome. A lot of things sort of like shaped my sort of football days in terms of what I brought into the cooking industry. And one is tolerance of pain and accountability with your teammates, right? I didn't realize that playing a team sport I loved. I love being told by somebody, hey, do your job. You know what I mean? Like
do your job. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And like when you're only playing a solo sport, it's just such a weird thing to have somebody tell you that your peer, like, step up. And the only time I ever felt that kind of atmosphere was in the kitchen. And I got recruited to play D3 football in the NESCAC, and I wound up going to Trinity College. And, there's no scholarships. And I was good. I made all league in the DC area. And I knew that it was never going to be a thing for me, right? I'm not athletically gifted, and I'm a grinder, right? I will work my ass off, and those are all sort of attributes you need in food. But when I got to cooking, like I didn't realize that you have a bunch of people that you would never expect to be serious people. When they put on the whites, these guys are clowns.
Right.
They're like pirates outside of the kitchen, But when they put on whites, they're as serious as can be. And I love that intensity. So there was a lot I took from playing organized sports, team sports, football that I took from high school into professional kitchens. And golf, what I learned is always looking at the scoreboard, always realizing no matter how good you are, someone's going to be better than you. And that's a hard thing to learn when you're 13 years old, right? When you think you're the hottest, around. And then I'm sure, football players feel that all the time. They're the best in high school, and then they get to college, they're not the best anymore. They're the best in college, and then they get to the pros, they're not the best anymore. It's a humbling experience.
Yeah, you got to embrace the challenges. I actually looked forward to when I wasn't the best, though. When it came down to college, it was like going from high school. I thought I was a top dog, scholarships galore. You get to college, you're like, man, these are these units. Like I didn't know men were built like this. I didn't know they could be 6'6" and have these abs and be weigh 295 and still run as fast, almost as fast as me, or, have these attributes that you're like, man, this is world-class speed.
Come on, Cam. You're like a world-class athlete. That you cannot think that way. That's ridiculous.
No doubt. But that's just it. Like you're like, man, he's built like a unit. Like, in my high school, there was me at 6'4", at, defensive end, 265, 270, 275 by the time I left high school. And then opposite of me was a future number 3 overall pick, Dion Jordan, which he was 6'8", 230, but he ran like a 47, 400.
I know he went to University of Oregon, right?
Right, exactly. So that's what I was comparing myself.
Who had a better career?
Now me.
Yeah.
But when you again, I'm like you. I'm here for work. I'm here for tenacious, like long beyond anybody's ever willing to go. I like those dog days. I love it. But that's when you're comparing yourself as a 16, 17-year-old, you're like, oh, he's going to the league.
Listen,
I've got work to do.
Cam, I was 14 years old. I was sitting on the varsity team looking across the field, and there was this monster. I've never seen a human being this big in my life. And it was Jonathan Ogden.
Big tackle.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, you learn. I was like, this is not going to be a future thing for me. This is for people like that.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. When you look over, you're like, I'm big. But you look over, you're like, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. University of Oregon came through, and I was like rocking University of Oregon gear all sophomore, junior year. And they came in. I was like, hell yeah, they're here for me. Dion, got it. I said, okay, I got work to do. When you get to college, and I had a number 10 overall pick ahead of me in Tyson Alualu, got drafted to Jacksonville. But that's just it. When you get to that level and you can see somebody who's better than you, it makes you hungrier. Like it makes you challenge yourself. Like, all right, well, shoot, if he's faster than me, I'm going to be stronger, smarter, whatever. If he's smarter than me, then I've got to be faster, twitchier. Like you find your niche. You're like, all right, what makes me me? And then you start honing your craft from there. For me, I was like, I'm going to have the best stamina out of anybody they've ever seen. I run with the DBs. I run with the linebackers. I challenge any and everybody. And that's where my hat was laid. And that's why I've been able to, I think, play so long, because I take the challenge of I'm going to go harder, faster, longer than anybody can. In the fourth quarter, when everybody's tired, that's where I start to excel.
Well, let me ask you, Cam. I love talking to athletes. I do a lot of stuff with Amazon Thursday Night Football, so I talk to all those guys, Sherm and Witt and Fitz. It's amazing, right? It's like the best thing I do is getting to hang with those guys, because I ask them these ridiculous questions. Because in cooking, I now come to the conclusion that the most talented cook is very different, never makes a great chef, right? Because you've never developed humility. You've never learned to empathize with other cooks that are not nearly as good as you. You're just like, why can't you make this? Why can't you cook like this? Well, the other cook's like, I'm just not as good as you are. And I think that being good enough, but not the greatest cook, translates to being the best chef. Now, I think it's a little bit different. It's not apples to apples, but do you feel like the most talented athletes in football always win, right? Do they always pan out? And clearly the answer is no, but what is the determining factor for being great? Like, your career has been amazing.
I think when it comes to a really talented player, love them. You can't teach Justin Jefferson route running speed, Devontae Adams route running, catch radius. You can't teach, Michael Thomas catch radius, work ethic. But you could look at those traits and be like, all right, this is what makes a receiver really, really good. You love to see a guy run a 4.3, looks great on paper. 4.2. You love to see an edge rusher who runs a 4.4 and 6'5" and got all the intangibles. I hate the word intangibles. Show me what he's done and show me what he's made of, because then I can tell you how he's going to pan out. If you got a guy who's just a pure dog, like loves the game, doesn't like, if I hear things like, oh man, like all he does is work out, all he does is do this. All right, but what does he do for football? All he like, if you hear, hey man, like he's got a nonstop motor, start me at nonstop motor and we'll go from there. Because a guy who can play balls to the wall 4 quarters, I'm gonna take him every time over a guy who looks the part. Like, oh man, if he puts it all together, what are we making, an omelet?
I mean, so how much is talent worth in the NFL? Is it just be talented enough, or do you have to have, again, as you say, the intangibles, right? Like I've always wanted to know, because greatness seems to be so hard to determine.
Granted, if you're 5'6", coming off the edge at $185, you're just not gonna make it.
No, I get that, but someone like Dion, right?
Yeah,
your high school teammate, this physical freak. Mm-hmm. How come it doesn't translate?
Injuries sometimes. Like at some point, he was going bone on bone on his knees, and I mean, you look at him like, bro, you have all the characteristics. Where I've been lucky enough to where I've been hurt, but I haven't been fully injured and taken out. Like I've only missed 2 games in my career, and sometimes the best ability is availability.
Cam, that's insane. You've only missed 2 games in your career. What's wrong with you, man?
Man, COVID got me, bro. COVID got me one. And then the other one, we played the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had a guard. I was like stunting inside guard, like stabbed through my face mask, broke my orbital bone. And then I played the other half just like with my eye closed. I was like, I went to the tent. They're like, yo, can you see? I was like, yep. And they're like, all right, cool. So I go out there, I open my eyes, like the world's inverted. I was like, well, that's not good. So I just closed my eye. So I was like locating quarterback with both eyes, close, play a snap or whatever, finish that game. Vision's good by like fourth quarter or whatever. And then we go on about it and they're like, hey, you're at a risk of whatever it is. We got to shut you down this game. I was like, unless you're taking my pads away from me, I'm playing. They took the pads away. I said, I guess I'm not playing. And then, so that was my second game. But really, I said, dang it, I could have been flawless. Like I was willing and able to play. But I know when I'm on the field, like I have this responsibility to play for my guys. And there's nothing I want to do more than win in the black and gold. Like I don't know if you can teach that. I don't know if you can just say, hey, like that this is going to be about him. Because when I first came out in the league, that's what the knock was. I'd never be a big sack guy. Like, may not ever be a double digit guy. May not ever, be able to close it out in the fourth quarter with the sack prowess, whatever it is. And I took that, I felt like Michael Jordan. I was like, and I took that personally. Like, what do you mean? My goal is to be the best. I don't want to be the best at one specific anything. I want to be the best overall.
Wow. I can't believe you've still only missed 2 games. I'm blown away. I mean, how many games have you played?
I don't know. 200 and I just broke Drew's record for most games played as a Saint at 229, 230. So I'm like 232 or something like that.
That's remarkable, man. Can I also ask, and then I'll stop. I just love talking to football players. It's amazing to me what you guys do. How sore are you right now?
Bro, it's weird. Depending on the years, like there used to be like year 6, 7, I was literally like, bro, I'm sore till Friday. I don't know how I do this. Year 10, it was one, because I don't think I was taking care of my body the right way until year 6 or 7. Like once my body was at the point of breaking, I was like, I've got to figure something else out. I was like, I go to a chiropractor when I need it. I get massage when I need it. I was like, things got to be regimented. I got real regimented right around year 6 or 7. I was like, all right, well, Wednesdays, massage, Mondays, I got to do cupping, breakdown, tissue work. Tuesdays, that's where I take advantage of my long distance training. I'm like, I got to break the wind. I got to make sure my stride's there. I got to make sure I'm not tired. I got to work through the hurt on Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be pain because you're sore and yet you're practicing full pads. Is normally a full contact day. I was like, and that's where I go massage. That's where I go hot tub. That's where I go Epsom salt bath. That's where I get in the oxygen chamber. It's like, that's where it goes to where now I'm year 15 and it's Tuesday. And now I'm like, all right, I got Wednesday practice. Like I'm good. Like, does it hurt? Yeah. But is it like, oh man, I'm suffering? Absolutely not. I'm actually in a better place now than I used to be because of how I regiment my week schedule and how I take care of my body. And that goes a long way. What I need to know, like, what made you a Commanders fan? Is it proximity?
Yeah, I grew up in Virginia. And if you lived in the DC area, that's the only thing that matters. I mean, yeah, you have the government, but it's at the time it was just the Redskins town, and every year we had a team that could make it all the way, and playing in old RFK Stadium, and you would go to those games. I mean, that was magic. The whole stadium would shake, and Joe Gibbs, the Smurfs, the Hogs, Dale Green, Art Monk, Monty Coleman. Like, I mean, these were people that I would watch, and we'd lose a game. I would cry as a kid. I was devastated.
Oh man. Speaking of that, like, I got a 10-year-old, bro, and he's that vested, right? He's vested in us and he's vested in LSU. And when we lose, my man's like it looks like I feel bad. Like I'm like, bro, hey, just because you lose one game doesn't make you a loser. When you lose one game, it means it's a challenge that you have to overcome. There's a lesson to be learned, and like we have real conversations about it. And at the end of it, he's like, Dad, I'm actually hungry. Like, what can we eat? When you were a kid, what was your go-to, whether it was during the game or after the post game, and did it change on if you won or lost?
Oh man, like I think it was. I think I would watch football and then I would go hit golf balls. I was hitting golf balls on Sundays all the time. So it was almost, I get these like at the golf club, they had these quesadillas. So that's what I would wait for.
What kind of quesadillas?
Chicken quesadilla. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
A little jalapeno in there.
Yeah, I was like, you in DMV. I honestly expected like, the little crab cakes or something like that, like a little special treat. I
mean, how about yourself? Like, are you, man, I would say living and working as an athlete in New Orleans, it has to be impossible.
My rookie year, I didn't gain a freshman 15, but I gained a rookie like 20. Like I was at all the GW Fins, I was at Brennan's, I was at Desi Vegas. I was eating my way through my rookie year. They drafted me to be this, 4-eye technique 3. It was 3-4-eye. So I'm really like a D tackle that they labeled an end. And so I'm not big enough. I'm fighting these grown men. I was like, I gotta, if I'm a run stopper, then I've got to buy in and stop the run. So I'm like, all right, well, cool. I'm get a po' boy, and it's, Zimmer seafood. It's, going to Neal's. It's, it's 3 dozens worth of char-grilled oysters. It's, it's the food that makes you happy.
Well, I love eating in New Orleans. I've spent a lot of time in that city, and
tell me what's your favorite place to eat in New Orleans?
My favorite, listen, the list could go on, and for those that are listening, your list is, you just named them all. You know what I mean? Like where you want to go, you name them all, Cam. But my favorite restaurant, I would have to say, in one of, it always changes, but Galatoire's is one of my favorite spots. Yeah,
Galatoire's,
because you got to put a jacket. I love that the downstairs is walk-in only, and they put all the tourists upstairs.
Right.
Watching, and just, there's no restaurant that looks like it, and every restaurant that's like that has its spot, right? And Galatoire's is just something that I think is unique, and nothing like that. For po' boys, I really like, oh my God, what's the name? That's going to Domiciles.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Domiciles?
Yeah.
I like that place a lot.
Huh. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I don't know if I know that one.
They got the coldest beer in the world, man. They serve in the big goblet. It's very, very good.
Okay. Shoot. That's like, I love a new one. I'll check that out. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to food cities, there was a ranking that you would put out this year.
Oh, they got me in all kinds of trouble with Pat McAfee.
I'll say you had what you had. Number 1 was
for sandwiches. The top 5 sandwiches.
There we go. That's what it was. Yeah. New Orleans was number 3 on that list. And I said,
Pittsburgh, and I didn't put Indianapolis, and I was on full blast.
Pittsburgh.
I mean, listen, they got Primanti Bros. It's good.
Right. Everything downtown in Pittsburgh closes at like 7:30. Like, you can't even get a late night snack in Pittsburgh. What
about Indianapolis?
Are they known for sandwiches?
And listen, that's what I was saying. I guess I got to try it out.
I've been to Indianapolis almost every combine I've like helped with, announced that. I don't think I've ever stopped for, hey, let me get one of those famous Indianapolis sandwiches. Nope. Philly makes perfect sense because they got the little chopped sandwiches up in there. Yeah. They got that makes sense. Okay.
New
York makes perfect sense. Okay.
Just because of the sheer variety of it all. Right, you can get everything, man, and particularly what is underrated are the Mexican style sandwiches. The semitas.
I was just about to say, yeah,
tortas.
Oh,
dude,
love a good torta.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, please put green chilies on my whatever you're about to make.
So good.
Please. Yeah, I would love that. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, okay, LA. And then what was number 2?
I think I had I don't remember. It was maybe Chicago or New York.
Mm,
I mean, Chicago's got
that.
great sandwiches too. I mean, clearly they got the beef sandwiches, and New York, very good. But
Yeah.
I think that LA secretly most people probably wouldn't put number 1, but you got everything here. Everything. You got like Chinese kind of sandwiches. You got amazing banh mi's, and
I do enjoy good banh mi. In
Yeah,
fact,
man.
sometimes I take the bao and I split it, and then I take the little meat out, and then I put my own little sandwich. Like I make a bao sandwich, and I'm like, damn.
Cam,
Okay,
listen, I think not only do you know how to play football at a Hall of Fame level, I think you're a Hall of Fame eater as well.
Big back. Yeah, that's me. Off season, yeah, we get pleasantly plump. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good life. Let me get back to football. Look, you said something about Dan Quinn, but I don't. You got Jayden Daniels over there, bro. LSU. The LSU claims him tough. He really went to ASU, so my Arizona roots makes me claim him. LSU, my son claims him for sure. Are you all in on Jayden Daniels? Year 2, he's been balling.
Yeah, I'm so nervous about him. Yes, he's a godsend. And last year, I got to say, last season was probably, if you ask any Redskin Commanders fan that's been in it for a while, they'll say that was one of the most glorious seasons anyone's ever had, because we were not that good. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, we were just sort of cobbled the team together, but man, no one expected Jayden to be that good. And man, after we beat Detroit and went to the NFC Conference Finals, I couldn't believe it. And then we saw just how good that was. Like, we should not have even been in that game. Let's be honest. And that's what I thought. But I had high expectations, and I love Jayden Daniels so much. But he seems. Every time he goes for a run, I think he's going to get injured, and it just scares me so much.
Knock on wood. He's a dog. I
want him forever, man. Like, he's a godsend. I literally love that man, but he broke my heart a little bit last night with that fumble. But it was raining, But
man, it was raining, and that wasn't the first one though, right? He almost lost the other one earlier in the game.
He did, and Bill fumbled, and then that first pass I can understand. He had a good game though. He
doesn't get rattled. He's very calm. The sacks that were happening, there was sacks on both sides. Good gosh. But it was raining, and you understood it, and they were still tossing that tater.
How crazy is that to see that he's just super
second
calm.
Year?
Yeah, like unflappable.
Yeah, man. I think that's just a part of who he is. With the interactions that I've had off the field, like, he's very calm, cool, chill. I be more amped up than he be amped up. I'm like, dang, like that's how quarterback's supposed to. Like, quarterback's supposed to have that calm, cool franchise demeanor about him. I'm always turned up. I'm turned up for life, so I don't understand this like detached, like analytical. Let me observe situation. I'm a middle child, man. I got too much energy for that. I'm very much, I give you everything I got right now. You're going to know if I'm happy, sad, or in between. And you probably can't catch a read on Jayden. You don't know if he's sad, upset, mad, or happy. Like, it's just like cool, calm. It's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to march down this field. And you see the product. He doesn't get rattled. He's what you say. He's unflappable.
Did you see anything last night where you're like, okay, I'm going to make sure to make a mental note of that, because you're playing the Bears next as well?
Exactly. That's why I was watching the game. I was watching the game like, all right, this is my study. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching the way Caleb Williams is weaving in and out. He can make all the throws. He escaped the pocket a couple times. Could have took off for major yards. Ran down the yard line just to toss it out to one of his players. I mean, playmakers on both sides. I get why there was 1 and 2 overall pick. And we've got him as well as a former D coordinator, Dennis Allen over there now, a couple of teammates over there. I mean, I think that, I was locked in that way, but I was watching Washington as well. I'm like, bro, this is a good ass game. I just love a good game. If I'm not in it, I want both of them to lose, honestly, because I'm petty like that. I was like, the worse everybody else is doing, the better we have a chance of making the playoffs. Great. So, I look at it, I'm just like, but that being said, objectively, I'm like, man, these guys are playing at a high level.
By the way, for those listening, if you haven't been in New Orleans when the Saints are winning or doing what, it is just the craziest good place
Unparalleled.
to be. It is everybody. There's very few towns where everybody's rooting for the Saints. That's pretty awesome, man. But going back to the Bears, are you, they have the new left tackle, right? Are you looking at that being like
Tackle? I don't care about the obese like that. Like I call them the almost athletes. I go out of my way to disrespect offensive linemen every shot I get. Unless you're my own. And if you play for the Saints, then you're the most athletic tackles in the game. But offensive lineman, I'm like, bro, I don't really rush offensive linemen anymore. I'm more so rushing the quarterback. And when I say that, I mean I'm rushing his spot, or trying to get him off the ball, because I want to know where he's at. I want to know what he's doing. This fat person in front of me, whether he's a franchise left tackle or not, he gets chip help. He gets tight end help. So chip from, a tight end, he gets a little chip help from a running back. Like for quote unquote athletes, these guys get all the help in the world. They got a little guard push off. They got, they got your slide pros. Are we that special if you need this much help? No, you're not. You're the fat kid that nobody picked for basketball or dodgeball or tag, and you just happen to internalize that and become a strong player. So, no, I don't know their names. No, I don't try to know their names. It's number, whatever the number is going to be. I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay. But I was watching them, like, as they were getting beat, like it looked like Von Miller and Deron Payne were having a heyday back there. Well, I was like, I'd love to see it. We got to continue that. We got to figure out how to emulate what happened Monday night, and just in terms of pass rush, because they were hammering Caleb early on. So, the better we do as a defense, the more chances we can give our offense, the better we're going to do as a team. So it all starts with
coach. Is it weird that he knows like everything about you guys?
Nope. We got to play against Sean Payton. Dennis Allen, I got nothing but love for Dennis Allen, respect for him. For the D coordinator he is, like, he's going to send those blitzes. You're going to have those multiplicity fronts. You're going to have these shifts, and I'm going to tell all the secrets because I want our offense to be prepared. They've got Sweat over there. They've got some animals on that defense side of the ball. So you have to be ready.
Man, I wish you were on the Commanders. That would have been amazing.
No, you got Vaughn. You got the only person in the league with more active sacks than me is Von Miller, and he's over there. You guys are in a great place. But I put it like this: when I come home from work, during whatever week, my kids get excited when I take them to the facility, when I take them to the stadium, when it's game day, and I'm like, after the game, they go on the field and they'll go to locker rooms and all this other stuff. How about like your family though? Do they get that same treatment? Like restaurants, they go in the back, they know how to work. Do they get that back scenery, behind the scenes?
I try not to show them that. I really try not to show them that. I mean, yes, they know, we have a restaurant in Major Dome. We live in LA now. And when they come in, I try not to like have them feel like they own it. I want them to be respectful of the people that work there. You know what I mean? Because I think the difference is if I was an employee, maybe it'd be a little bit different, but I don't want my kids to feel that they own it. Yeah. And I hate that. I hate it so much. So, they get most of the food that I cook, but when we go to a restaurant in general, like they see me on TV sometimes, they've been to the restaurant, but I try not to go there too much. Right. So, maybe I'm doing it wrong way, but also when my parents were alive, like they never came into the restaurant too much either. I don't know why, but I feel like, they watch from afar more than they actually ate in the restaurant. Yeah. I mean, we ate plenty, but it wasn't like it wasn't like family. I mean, because how do you do it when it's work? You know what I mean? And I always want to keep work and like family separate.
Man, if I had a dad that could cook look crazy like that, do you do like gourmet meals? Like, do your kids like did the family expect gourmet meals for you every time you're like, hey, I'm about to cook something up? Hey, don't cheat me, Dad. I know what you can do.
Box mac and cheese kills me. I mean, listen, the fact that your daughter eats sushi, I wish. My kids, I don't know what happened. I think I created some kind of eating disorder in them because I try to make them anything and everything, right?
Mm,
Sometimes we'll make pasta from scratch. And
right.
then, or sometimes we'll even make the elbows for macaroni and cheese. We've done this a couple times, the whole thing from scratch. And my son would still prefer a box mac and cheese.
Did you get him involved? Did you
Yeah,
get
of
him
course.
involved? Like, did you?
Of course. He
He
still,
didn't want to eat his own creation?
no.
Wow.
I think, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Literally, I'm at a loss for words. And I, listen, they eat a lot of the stuff that I make, but it's always the things that I really want them to enjoy that they never eat.
That takes me to traveling because I love traveling. What's your favorite place to travel to?
Japan.
Mm,
Have you been?
yeah, twice, 3 times, something like that. Yeah. It's my wife's new favorite place. Took her last year. And she's like, "Oh, we have to go back." I was like, "Oh, this is the first time you said have to." So okay. I was like, let's start knocking off some islands. I was like, Japan's got a lot of culture. You talk about. I started reading up on the base of Japan and how it was really what it was like 2 tribes that sort of started off with like the Ryukyu and the what now is like the Okinawans. But yeah, I'm down. Hey, we're in Japan.
I lived in Tokyo and I lived in a place called Izumi Tottori, which would basically be like Jacksonville, Florida of Japan. Wasn't no disrespect, Jacksonville. No disrespect, Jacksonville.
I'll say you just painted in the most like serene country-ish territory out, but okay.
Yeah. But and a lot of family that live there. Korea, Japan has had a long, not the best relationship, but so many of my family members were basically born and raised in Japan. So when I get to Japan, it almost feels more home to me than if I'm in Korea, which is weird. But the food, like those are the first things that were introduced to me by my grandfather. So I love the food in Tokyo. I think last year we spent a couple weeks in Kyoto. And if you haven't been to Kyoto, it's like the size of, it's like Boston. It's like Boston to Tokyo's New York City. And
which one do you prefer?
The older I get, the more I prefer Kyoto. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm turning 49 this year. I don't know what happened and how I got so goddamn old, but if you're young, man, Tokyo is an amazing place to be.
No doubt. But I'm a Kyoto guy. Like Kyoto gets it in.
Because you can walk the whole city. You don't need, literally the whole city can be walked from end to end in like 45 minutes. So that's amazing. And it's, you might have a restaurant next to like a 500-year-old temple. You just can't make that kind of stuff up. And it's just more serene. It's a little bit more calm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's got a great nightlife.
It does.
I think I had, last time we went, I had more fun in Kyoto than I did in Tokyo.
All right.
Which, I mean, if you're having fun and if one's an A and the other one's an A+, you're not going wrong there. But yeah, of course you can always go to Shinjuku and the Ginzu district and have a great time. But like I'm here for the the not known. I like a good speakeasy. I like a good lounge. But yeah, absolutely. I'm down with Japan at every turn. Wifey's down with Japan.
If you're going to go to Kyoto, there's a bar called Bar Quasimoto, and it's everything that is amazing about Kyoto and Japan. It's a bartender that looks like he's 85 years old. He's smoking little cigars, and it's a bar where if you order a drink, there's no what kind of gin would you like? What kind of vodka? You just get what you get. And it's just the cool thing. And that's the thing about Japan or any of these cities. You can discover something that is extraordinary, and it's not in any guidebook. And in this world where everything seems to be in a guidebook or online, it's fantastic to find something that's completely analog.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember. I remember just going and just watching the craftsmanship of being at a bar. One of those, like, you look it up, it's like top 50 bars of the world. Me and my older brother went 2013, right before I had a kid. So 2013, 14, whatever there was. And I remember just like, he took out like his little blade. And I was like, hey, yo, like it looked like a sword. I was like, are we serious right now? And he like chops the ice, cubes it. It was like the first like real presentation you'd ever seen. Like other than that, I've just been at, bars in America where you're just going, you bar hopping. It was like a real presentation. And that's what I learned, like showmanship.
Yeah.
To the bar scene.
It's a different game they play in Japan.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd like to simply say, so thank you so much for tapping in. I know there's 11 games left in the season. You're rooting for the Commanders. We don't play each other this year. All right, perfect. So, we don't have any discrepancies. We both got our fights. I think my tunnel's a little darker than your tunnel is as we're headed towards hopefully a playoff picture. But I appreciate you for tapping in with me, man. It's been so fun. I would love to keep on talking because now we're talking about food and football, the two greatest parts of my life that go hand in hand with each other. If I could, I just say thank you so much. And to all the listeners out there, man, look, David has done a phenomenal job with not only his family, but his restaurants, and just coming on the pod has been a blessing. So thank you so much for tapping in. And this is Off the Edge with Cam Jayden. I'm your host. I'm your author. I'm your narrator. I'm whatever you need me to be, just like in Between the Lines. I'm just trying to find a win. Thank you for tapping in. For all the listeners, wherever you can find your podcast, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, all podcast platforms, and of course the NFL YouTube page. Find us Off the Edge. Me, your host, Cam Jayden, my guy, David Chang. Appreciate you.